Hey, welcome to Two Cents episode 81. It's January 29th, 2017. It's the live Undoctored news show we do here at Dollar Views, and we cover a lot of stuff. Technology, TV, movies, streaming, video games, VR, politics kind of, because it's the first 100 days still of our 45th president, Donald Trump. I'm Brian Gillis. You can follow me on Twitter at Brian Gillis, or send me an email, brian@dollarviews.net. Dollarviews.net is where all the content is, mind you. And I'm here with Stephen Mominex.
I was trying to think of something clever, and I just didn't get anything out.
Yeah,
so,
that didn't.
No,
that didn't land. That was bad.
I had some in my head, and I was debating it, and then I thought, no, it'll be stupid, and I'm not even going to say it right now because it'll still be stupid. So
yeah, don't go for it. Out of curiosity, I was wondering this because I got asked for the show, and I wonder if the same thing happens to you. Do you have people in your life that ask you to do stuff on Sundays, even though they should know at this point that you're always busy Sunday night? Or is that just me?
All the time. All the time.
Like they seriously ask like every couple of weeks. They're like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" And you go, "Oh no, I got my podcast." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
I feel I'm the same way though. Like I don't know why. Just sometimes I genuinely want people to hang out, and then I forget that like they have their one weekly ritual that they keep doing, which obviously is not that important to me because I'm not the one doing it, and because I genuinely want them to like be there and hang out. But then I don't know. It's like I get that I respond that way all the time, and yet I'm also that asshole that keeps asking that question, like, and annoys people. But so it's
Maybe
like
it's different for you.
I get it. Yeah, I'm never annoyed when people ask me. I'm just kind of like, nope, shit, I can't.
Oh no,
do it.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm not annoyed. It's just like I said, like it's a mere instance. For instance, even, we were hanging out last night. Earlier, he was messaging me, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I got my show later." He's like, "Oh yeah, well if you finish early, you want to do this?" I was like, "Oh, okay." It's like a funny little thing, and even more so. I told a coworker the other day, I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a podcast." She's like, "Oh, that's so cool. You have one of those?" And then like a minute later, she said, "What's a podcast?" I was like, "It's like a radio show that no one listens to." But yeah, we talk the news here. It's unscripted, like I said. We don't edit this thing, and we're gonna start with politics because, like I said, that's where things are all about nowadays, even when it comes to the arts. So yeah, the SAG Awards were happening tonight. Lots of winners. Fences was a big winner for acting. For some reason, also Stranger Things, The Crown, Orange is the New Black. Those won ensembles. Sarah Paulson continued to sweep the award season. But probably the biggest thing was people just speaking out about the president thus far. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, for instance. Even better, Mahershala Ali. When he accepted Best Supporting Actor for Moonlight, he started talking about what it means to him, not in terms of just Moonlight, like embracing people that are kind of don't have a voice in our culture, but also just making it known that he is a Muslim American, that this Muslim ban is something that he really doesn't like, and I think that's the entire country, even the Republicans.
I mean, LAX is going crazy right now.
Oh, not even just LAX. It's like every international airport, JFK, probably Dulles in the DC area.
Definitely Dulles. I mean, my Twitter feed won't stop going nuts about it right now.
It's funny because I've actually been to those three airports that it's named. What's the big one in Texas that I've also been to?
What, Houston?
No, the other one.
The one in Dallas?
Yeah, it has Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah.
I assume that they're pretty big about it too. Just any metropolitan area. What is this exactly? Like, I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen the hashtag. Is it basically like we're not accepting any more immigrants, or?
I think it's in response to the Muslim ban mainly, and some people have been detained while arriving in the country. So
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
it's crazy right now, and like I haven't had the time to fully read anything because I've been so busy. But I mean, even on the streets, there's protests over that.
Yeah.
There's protests over defending Planned Parenthood, which, like, there was a crazy one here that just came out of nowhere where they marched in front of the Capitol and the whole street was shut down, and there was a stretch of people going by for what felt like 20 minutes. It was pretty big. Like, could have been as big as half as big as the Women's March. Like, well, I mean, because this one just kept walking by. It's not like people were standing on the street for most of the day, so it was pretty crazy just how many people came and went.
So I don't know the specifics on what is going down in terms of what the policymakers and politicians are doing, but I do know how the world is responding, especially America. The big thing is like the ACLU, which usually gets about $3 to $4 million a year in donations, has already received 20 million this weekend alone. So whatever they're doing at the Capitol, it's working for the best in terms of the American people. Lyft is promising over 1 million over the next couple of years, and that sparked this whole delete Uber controversy where celebrities and just users alike are, because I guess the CEO of Uber is a Trump supporter, so they're calling for basically the app to die, which could actually make some kind of power struggle in terms of which app has more rideshare. So I don't know. It's just every week now, it seems, and we're going to see how long this continues. Regardless of what happens, for the better, it's making, I mean, for the worse, things are getting better for us in terms of just how it's uniting us as a country. It's kind of like the September 11th thing all over. It's we were divided then, but then, oh, we have a common enemy. Everyone's American now. We all have these flags. And I'm not sure it's in terms of patriotism anymore. But yeah, like there is this just commonality now where it's like we are a people again, or if you want to quote the preamble.
Not so much. I mean, there's still, I want to say, like, because you're probably more surrounded by people that have more common ground, but here it's like I see division constantly on the streets and just bickering back and forth, and it's just like, I don't know.
Well, discourse is part of unity, though, as even in
people can bond that you wouldn't expect it to, and that's beautiful. But like, it's still, it can get ugly, and it's just
Talking about ugly.
I get so, I don't know. I feel like I get more jaded by this stuff now.
You remember last week talking about Shia LaBeouf? He has that art installation. He will not divide
Yes.
us. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
about
actually
that.
got arrested live on stream, which I would assume is
actually
from
up?
that. There's not a video of this. It's a live stream, but you can find GIFs or maybe there's a recording somewhere. I would assume it's because of that guy that he got all up in his face, the guy he harassed that we were talking about last Monday. So yeah, he got thrown in jail. As soon as he got out, he went back to the museum, started doing the protest again. So he's real serious about this. He's been doing it for a little bit over a week now. Who knows how much longer he's going to keep it up. I mean, he has commitments as an actor. He has projects coming up. But I'd be really interested to see, once he's done with production on shit, if he just goes back and just keeps on doing it, like all 4 years. Like,
Unless
if this is a
impeachment
real
happens,
thing.
you never know.
Like, that process is so impossible to even go through. Like, the actual impeachment, the like, to go in front of the Congress, which, like, what happened to Clinton, not a big deal. Like, that's happened a couple of times. But the step after that, for the impeachment hearing to go the way that the public wants, and for the president to literally vacate office, that would take forever.
Yeah.
Like, half of the presidency would probably be over by that time anyway.
I don't know.
Right,
See what happens, but like, it's just,
it's bizarre.
people are calling for it now, just after that Muslim ban executive order and it being illegal. So,
It's hard to even really keep track of all this stuff because so much happens all at once, and it's like, I guess, lucky that so many of just the Hollywood industry people that I feel follow on Twitter in terms of reporting for the show are so vocal about these things. Like, someone told Kal Penn, "You don't even belong to be in this country," or something like that. And so he responded by opening not a Kickstarter, but like something like that, and he's already raised like something like $250,000 for these Muslims that have been detained and shit. So, like I said, these bad things that are happening so far have been for the better. It's not like anyone's rioting. There's no crazy protests. I mean, people are, I'm sure, still dying in the streets, but that hasn't
there's
changed.
at least a lot of people that are just getting ticked now that they're doing the right thing. But
and it's
just,
surprising.
It's sad that has to, that this has to really do that. And it's still, I don't know, it's just still very uncertain. Like,
it's surprising to me, though, because I've been pretty vocal about how just lazy our generation is, how we might protest online, but we don't do anything about it. And in just the last 8
people
days,
have been turning up. Like,
like
insane.
it's impressive, like that we are, or not me directly, but our generation literally is going out there and trying to make a difference, and in certain ways, especially this week, doing so in terms of just what certain groups are being able to raise, how just things can be changing. I mean, they appointed a new head of the FCC who is, not a white Protestant American, and he's like calling for a death to net neutrality, so that could be really bad. And if you stick with us in the headlines, which is coming up after these teasers, we're going to be talking about some big stuff in terms of vertical integration and why net neutrality dying would be really, really bad. But here are the teasers, and the first one is kind of like a mix between video games and movies, and most of these teasers are kind of slanted towards comic books because, hey, I'm going to assume that most of our listeners are interested in that, and it's been proven. So the first one is actually really bizarre. Francis Ford Coppola has turned to Kickstarter. He's trying to make a video game adaptation of Apocalypse Now. I don't know why. They're aiming for
really weird.
Yeah, they're aiming for a 2020 launch and said to be like a survival horror RPG. So let me get this straight. Your wine is better than your movies, and now you're trying to turn one of your movies into a video game. That they already did The Godfather 1 and 2. EA made those
That's
games
right.
a while ago.
It was barely even based off the movie anyway.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like
It
you were
was like
a
some
new
lame GTA, which, well, it was kind
sorta.
of cool that it was set in.
Well, they got
in
all the
Italy,
actors'
but-
likenesses, and I
Yeah.
think they got performance capture for certain people, like not Marlon Brando because he was dead at the time, but like everyone else. And I believe the concept of the game is, it's like a GTA type game where you
It
start
is,
as a
yeah.
foot soldier and you move up the ranks.
It's
But-
kind of cool if you've never played GTA before.
Yeah,
but
Coppola probably had like no actual. Like he might have served
just
as
getting
an
residual
executive
checks,
producer.
probably.
Yeah, he was just making money off of whatever kind of gross they got off of that game. But this is totally like he's not the director or anything, but he might be, I think, making like a production company or something. But I just don't understand why this is even necessary. Isn't there enough shit out there about Vietnam? Is Vietnam even relevant anymore? There's already like 3 different versions of Apocalypse Now out there. I've seen
Yeah.
one of them.
I might see it now in 70mm just because that's happening here soon. But
Is it
like,
Redux?
I don't think so. No, I don't know if
Oh.
they struck prints for that one.
Huh.
Yeah,
I've
I don't think
only-
mine is 3.5 hours long. I've never seen that version though.
I've only seen Redux, and I don't want to watch the regular one because I didn't like Redux, and I know that's the
That
better version.
has to be painful, I'm sure. Like,
Um,
I don't even know if it is the better version. Like, most people tend to settle on the theatrical unless they really love spending time in that movie. In which case, I'm not one of those people.
It's not even that it's dark. I just don't care for the characters or the atmosphere, or really anything about it. And Coppola is just not one of my favorite
Like,
filmmakers.
it's a tough movie to get into. Yeah. Oh, right. You've not you're not a fan of The Godfather. I forgot about that.
It's not my kind of thing. I love
Yeah.
Jack with Robin Williams. Best Coppola film is Jack, for sure.
Conversation is a great movie.
I need to see it. It's going to be on Dead Cinema. Probably the
Alright.
real reason I need to see it. You've seen Enemy of the State, right? With Will Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, the unofficial sequel.
Yeah.
So I really like that movie. Conversation.
Oh, that
I think it's
movie's
still
awesome,
on
yeah.
Amazon Prime. I'll
Oh,
watch it
man.
eventually. I
Yeah.
need to see it. I've seen
Oh,
clips
it's-
of it. Like in film school, actually, they were
Mm-hmm.
showing one of the big moments, and I left the class. I was like, "Fuck that! You're not ruining this for me." And I just
No,
like,
good. Yeah, because I like. It's a very quiet movie, but there's some oh shit moments that like I still remember from that movie. I've only seen it once, but yeah, like that's a great movie.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna see it one of these
Like
days.
I don't know. I think a lot of people might agree. Like it's probably better than Godfather Part 2. Like I love Part 2, but I think Conversation just burns more of an impression on there.
Because I understand the appeal for The Godfather. We kind of talked about this during our Mean Streets episode of Dead to Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Godfather Part 2 just has great, just iconic moments. There's so many good pieces of dialogue, and
Just both
Yeah.
those movies in general. Like you watch them, it's like they feel great, and it's I definitely love those movies. Like I don't revisit them all the time, but it's like every 5 years or so, like I could pop in The Godfather and then just slowly revisit everything that comes to me, and I get into it. It's kind of like Citizen Kane in that way, where I'm not gonna like be talking about how much of a masterpiece it is all the fucking time because there's other people that do that, but then I can watch those movies just at about on a 5-year gap and just slowly get back into them and see why they are considered great. They're one of those to me.
it's like, I'm such a weird person. Mafia, have you seen that? The like, Godfather spoof movie?
No,
No, it's like in the same vein as Scary Movie or Airplane.
is that
It's
Mel
called
Brooks
Mafia.
or
No, it might be the Zucker brothers, but it's like Jay Moore stars in it, and it's like Casino plus Goodfellas plus The Godfather. I saw that before I saw any of those films. I love it. It's really funny. I like that more than the Godfather films. Just because I'm that kind of weird person. Like there's this stupid ass scene where there's like this old lady drinking prune juice, and I think she like it makes her fart really loud, which like becomes a bomb or like something like real stupid. Because hey, why not?
So you knew like all the references it was making to Godfather before you saw
Yeah,
Godfather.
exactly.
Yeah, with me it's
in
probably
the same way. It's like
probably
Scary
like-
Movie 2. I didn't see The Exorcist, but I knew what it was, and the head spinning. It was like obvious.
I don't know. With me, it's more like after watching some like Animaniacs or Tiny Toons. You know, it's not until like after when I start watching The Godfather, I realized that all the stuff in my childhood has been slowly like just referencing that, but it's always been out of love. So it's hell, even Taxi Driver. You know, so it's like it's one of those ways where you're familiar with the iconography like just before even seeing it, which. It's really just fascinating how there's things from our childhoods that are like deliberately made that way, and
when a
like,
movie
you
is
still get
so
to see it like be pretty cool though.
Yeah, when a movie is just so iconic or so famous that
Yeah,
you're
and-
aware of like these moments before you've seen it at
And
all.
it just has like the way it references it, it's just in such an inspired way that I don't know if it can necessarily ruin it, but it does take you out of it a little bit. Just be like, hey, you know, I remember when Animaniacs did that, you know, use that line or whatever it is.
Well, I think we're still due for a spoof of the superhero genre outside of
Superhero
movie.
Kick-Ass.
No, that's
Not
more of
necessarily a
like
spoof, but it definitely a deconstruction. And
a little bit, but like, I want like a full-on spoof, and just reason for this, we got the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to video games. Square Enix announced earlier this week that they're going to work in collaboration with Marvel on an interconnected video game universe. It's going to be produced by Crystal Dynamics, the studio behind the Tomb Raider reboot, among other things. Also Eidos, who does like Deus Ex. And so they're going to be putting a lot of money behind this. You can see the trailer. It's pretty damn obvious that this is going to take place between the Infinity War films. So maybe it's kind of in the same way that the Netflix universe and also like the ABC stuff builds a different segment of the universe, that maybe there's certain stories that can only be told through interactive storytelling. But from, like I said, from this trailer that I saw, you have like famous items. You have like Captain America's shield. You have Iron Man's like boosters, and it seems like they're all not dead, but like dilapidated or like out of the line of duty, and it seems like it's being narrated by Captain Marvel, which would like just fall in line since she's probably going to be the one leading the Avengers after all of these big movie stars, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Robert Downey Jr. leave after Infinity War, because that's going to happen if you didn't know that. Their contracts were only ever for 3 phases. I wonder who's going to stay, though. Like, someone is probably going to stay, because what else are they going to do with their career? And we'll find out who that is in the years
Jackson.
to come. Nah, well, I mean, he's kind of been absent for a good number of movies now.
No, well, last one he was in, it was probably Age of Ultron, right?
Was he in Civil? No, he wasn't in Civil War.
I don't think so.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's bound to come in for Infinity War.
He's
so.
like in another 5 or something. Like, didn't he sign like a 13-movie deal during that first
All right,
Avengers?
let's see. There was the credit sequence in Iron Man. Then he was in Iron Man 2. Credit sequence in Thor. He showed up in
Avengers.
Captain America. Avengers.
Yeah, Captain America 2.
Yeah.
Avengers 2.
Yeah, so that's 7 movies so far.
Yeah, he's like,
even though
he's
like a
half
lot of
done or
those are
something.
credit sequences.
He's definitely going to be in Infinity War and God knows what else. Maybe Thor Ragnarok. We'll find out. We don't speculate
Spider-Man
on that.
Homecoming.
We do. I don't think so.
I think it's more plausible because Thor Ragnarok is supposed to be off-world, whereas Spider-Man Homecoming that's on Earth, so that could happen maybe.
I don't.
I don't know. Could be a sequence where Nick Fury shows up and is like, "All right, you're on the Avengers," which is still, I don't know, he's still officially gone at that point or what? I don't know. Whatever. We'll see.
Well, jumping from one Marvel universe to a different one, Fox's X-Men franchise, which they love so much, and we do too, they're priming a pilot set within the X-Men film universe, unlike FX's Legion, which airs in a week or two, with Bryan Singer set to direct, mind you. So this is pretty big time. He's going to be executive producing also, and it's supposedly going to follow 2 parents on the run after discovering that their children are mutants. So it's set in the film universe. You got Bryan Singer, who basically created the thing himself, directing the thing. That's a lot of star power. I would have to assume this is going to be on Fox, not on FX.
Probably.
But I don't know. We'll have to wait. I mean, they already have they have Lucifer and Gotham, so this would be another thing up there, and they've done other comic book stuff on the channel or the network rather.
It's just, and what other primetime stuff have they had that's been big and has continued going? I don't know. I don't know why I keep thinking of that Minority Report series that they made
No,
for
I
some
mean, well,
reason.
like Fox proper, not much besides like 24, but you
Yeah.
have stuff like The League and It's Always Sunny and fuck
No, the League is
Archer.
FX, isn't it?
Well, FX is Fox. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you mean like actual Fox,
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm talking about.
there's not much there besides 24. Like most things don't stay long. Maybe they get like 2 or 3 seasons and then they die. Outside of like The Simpsons or Family Guy, like their animated stuff nowadays. Well, Simpsons nowadays for 20 something years. But yeah,
Almost 30, I think.
this is probably gonna be, I would maybe like winter, and this would be a stopgap between now and whenever the next X-Men movie is. Like maybe this is kind of what we always dreamt that Star Wars live action show was gonna be, where it would tell the stories in between the movies.
Mm-hmm.
This could be that for Fox, and it would make a lot of sense. That way they could do like a soft reboot on TV, and they could do something that Marvel's kind of been promising for a long time in terms of, oh, here's our Netflix people, here's our ABC people, they're going to be in the movies, but not really because they've never done that. And I still think DC can possibly do that, just given what the Flash is already doing on TV with the Legend of Tomorrow and how they already have the 4 channel, or not the 4 channel, the 4 series mashup. Like, they can do anything on the CW, and I think Warner Brothers is gonna come up with something good. But this is exciting. I don't know where this is gonna go. I'm not sure if I'm gonna turn into Legion. I didn't watch Riverdale today, or not today. I mean this week. I think I'm gonna wait for like 2 more episodes so I can like binge on if I really like it. But I was in a comic shop yesterday and I heard someone talking about it. And he was like, "Yeah, what's her like? Veronica looks a lot like Phoebe Cates." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Okay, I'll definitely tune in now." I love me Phoebe Cates too. I think everyone does, especially Kevin Kline. But talking about Warner Brothers, this is kind of sad. The Flash movie has been up shit creek without a paddle for a while now. Started with Seth Graham-Greene writing, directing. He left, thank God. Then they got
Rick
fuck.
Famuyiwa.
I always gotta look at the poster behind me. Yeah, Rick Famuyiwa to
I don't even
like
know if I'm saying it right.
to doctor the script, and then he was directing. He's left, and so it's kind of in turnaround now. They've got someone else to do a page 1 rewrite. His name is Joby Harold. You never heard of him, but he's doing a lot of stuff at Warner's. He wrote that upcoming Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie. They have a Robin Hood script, which he wrote. He also did one for The Twilight Zone. So I guess he's like their new boy in charge.
But like, does that tonally fit what those
I don't
projects
know.
are? It just seems
I
like,
don't
oh,
know.
hey, you made good stuff for us. Why don't you just try to fix this? And
That's what
without
studios
considering
do.
if someone's right for the project. So
They
yeah,
don't have a director.
That's the thing. Rick Famuyiwa is like, he was an inspired choice at that point. So
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey Clemens is still Iris West for the time being, so some of the additions that he made are there, and I'm sure he'll probably get like an executive producing credit or something, and so will Seth Grahame-Smith, just because when you work on a tent pole like that, you get some kind of credit. But yeah, Ezra Miller is so busy between, he just did Justice League. Apparently he's doing Fantastic Beasts Part 2, which doesn't make sense if you've seen the first one. But he's so young that I have to imagine he has a lot of stuff on his not resume, but a lot of stuff that he has to be doing. That who knows when they're going to be filming this thing? They were supposed to start like right now, originally when
it's slated
Seth
for next
Grahame-Smith
year,
was there.
isn't it?
Yeah, well, probably not anymore. It might be off the
Yeah.
calendar. Last week when we were talking about Black Adam getting his own movie, that probably took its place. I don't know. I mean, they're in a good spot because the Flash is on TV. There's not really a big demand for a standalone movie, I would think, just because the fanboys are familiar with the concept and the character, and they have been so for 2.5 years.
Well, the thing is, though, we got Justice League first, so I don't know. I mean, the standalone movie's not supposed to be an introduction, obviously, but
Since the Flash is in Suicide Squad,
yeah,
They've
for
already
like 2
established-
seconds.
they've established him as a character, and like I said, he's a pretty iconic hero. Even if you don't know much about him, all you have to know is that he can fucking run fast. Okay, like
I mean, like, he's already made an impression to Ezra Miller just based off that
Yeah.
Justice League trailer alone. So it's like,
you should, if you haven't seen it, his interviews are awesome. He's such a fucking geek. Like he knows way too much for how young he is.
I can totally believe that. I mean, yeah, like it's the guy. I don't know why. Like a lot of people were turned off by his casting. I didn't think it was bad.
I initially was. Like, do you remember our conversations? Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't until
you and several people, and I was just like, okay, it's not going to be like we need to talk about Kevin or anything, But
no, it's not even because of his body of work. It's just he's a Weasley kind of scrawny, like geeky kid,
mhm.
and that's not Barry Allen. Barry Allen is like the all-American hero with like charisma and charm for days, who just enables you to believe that anything is possible. Like if you see the CW show, Grant Gustin, oh man,
He's that
like
guy.
he's that guy. Yeah, just watching him, like spending 45 minutes with him, you're like, "Oh, this is awesome." He's just awesome. And like I really hope that once his CW run is over that he can make the jump to the big screen, cuz he really does have some star qualities,
Mm.
and he can sing and dance, so that's cool, but
Oh,
very
he was on
excited.
Glee, wasn't he? Or
So was
yeah.
Melissa Benoist to Supergirl, and that's why the musical crossover, which is happening in March, which I'm still sure Joss Whedon's going to direct, the two-part episode, is going to be so amazing because they've had musical moments on The Flash, but this is going to be two established singers. And then someone was also telling me the guy who plays Joe West, like The Flash's dad, was also in the original run for Rent. So it's like so many people on this show are so involved. That's really exciting, but I think I'm equally excited about Shane Black's Predator, which is going to be starting production just
Hell
next month.
yes.
And the reason is they've been adding a lot of fucking people to this movie. If you've seen Moonlight, the final version of it's Black, okay? Like when you name the character three different things, but Chiron, the final version of Chiron,
Chiron.
Chiron,
Yeah.
he's on the cast. You got fuck, I don't even know who else. It doesn't matter. The only person that is important is the person that just got today, and it's Jacob Tremblay. That is amazing. He's basically gonna be the star. He's playing like some autistic kid who has just a knack for languages, kind of like an Arrival, and he's gonna, I'm gonna assume, be able to communicate with the Predators. But it's Shane Black. He's writing it. He's directing it with Fred Decker. Very, very exciting. Is this proof that this is going to be amazing? Because I think so.
I hope so. Like whenever you get a bunch of talent involved, it would suck if it wasn't great. And
Here's looking at Yukong Skull Island.
I don't know. I saw that trailer. I'm not that pumped for that one, to be honest.
Uh,
Like I'm just not, which really saddens me. I even looked at like the Kong in that trailer, and like after recently watching the Peter Jackson remake right before Christmas, like it astounded me to think like, why is it that Peter Jackson's Kong looks better to me? Like I
I
mean,
don't
granted
know.
that one has mocap, and the movements of that
Yeah.
Kong
Well,
are
it's Andy
very
Serkis.
yeah, like and he just nails the animalistic qualities of Kong at that point where his movements are just unpredictable and they're very raw. But then I don't know, just this new one, I'm like, well, shit, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I wonder if people have forgotten that Andy Serkis is making his own Jungle Book for Fox still.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
don't
think
even know when isn't it Warner Brothers?
oh yes, Warner Brothers. Yeah, that thing
Yeah,
got pushed back. He was originally supposed to be coming out this summer, and now who knows when? Especially since Apes is coming out this summer.
yeah. I don't even know if they started shooting that one yet.
They must have, because this is going to be similar to Disney's. It's going to be, I would assume, mostly mocap. I mean, it's Andy Serkis, so
Well, and I
yeah.
think it's supposed to be closer to the Rudyard Kipling book, which
I don't
the
know.
Disney one obviously wasn't. It was
No.
closer to Disney.
And so I don't know. Like, I saw that trailer when it first landed too, and I'm not going to go see it in theaters, but it does look like a fun vehicle. If it's only just setting up this King Kong Godzilla Pacific Rim crossover event
Yeah.
that Legendary promised like a year ago, which if it is the Iron Man 2 of that universe, if it is the Batman versus Superman, might not be a bad thing. But they got so many good people, like John
Hmm.
Goodman, isn't Samuel L. Jackson? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like you got shit. What's her name from Room? Also Brie
Brie Larson.
Larson.
Like, it feels like it's just going for just fun monster movie, and it's like, well, I guess that's fine. Just
I don't know.
it's King Kong. Like I'm a fan of the Peter Jackson remake. I'm a fan of the original. It's like when it comes to King Kong, like anything less than great to me is just kind of like, kind of a bummer. You know, I hope it's good at least, but I don't know.
Have
if I'm
you
gonna see it
seen
in
the
theaters.
'70s version with
No, no, I have
fuck who
not.
stars in that? It's I've seen like
I
10 minutes of it. It's shit. Their brothers.
Jessica Lang, I think, is in
I'm
there.
talking about the
Jessica Tandy,
dude.
somebody.
The
The
dude.
guy
It's
that played
it's the dude.
Jeff Bridges.
It's Jeff Bridges, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know it's the guy that played Non in Superman and Superman 2 is in that. He's talked some serious shit on the director for that movie, so
I almost put on Superman 3 like a night or two ago because it's on Netflix. I thought about it for a minute and then I went, nah,
it is
maybe Dead
terrible.
to Cinema.
It's
yeah, I know.
so bad. No, like,
Oh yeah, I know.
you really would want to make that a Dead to
Maybe.
Cinema?
I'm thinking about it.
It's so bad.
That or like
it's
Howard
so,
the Duck.
I-
I swear to God, I need to see like every
Oh
comic
my
book
god!
movie just so I can.
You should listen if you watch that movie. You should listen to the "How Did This Get Made" episode right after.
Probably
like,
will.
And I mean that episode is it gives that movie reason to exist, and that's all I'll say about that. But Superman 3, it's amazingly bad. Like I hate that movie just on general principle, but like you can't help but watch that and be like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Like it's Batman and Robin bad, where you're just watching it and just in awe of where it's going the whole time, or you're just losing your mind. I don't know, whichever.
So I'm gonna try something different right now. We like to talk about Patreon, and it's gonna be about like 25 minutes in terms of how we do this for free, but we love to get paid, and that we can get sponsored by you, the listener, especially if you have a company you want us to pimp us out. So as an example of that, I'm going to do one right here. It's already been prefaced, so sorry if it already sounds like it's pay dollars. It's not. Last night I had the munchies. I was driving home. It was about 4 a.m. Since I heard about this thing, I knew that I had to get it. I went to Taco Bell. I got the naked chicken chalupa. It's about $3.50 after tax. I don't know if because I was really hungry or because I was really drunk or both. It was pretty damn good. Like, it was double-decker, this is so ingenious territory. If you haven't seen this, this is what it is. It's a taco. Well, it's a chicken taco, except the shell is made out of fried chicken, and there's no meat in the taco itself. So they take a fried chicken patty, they shape it into a taco shell, and they put, like, the lettuce and the sauce and the tomatoes in there. And it's just like this inversion of a taco that works really, really well. Like, it's almost like a sandwich more than anything. Like I said, it's kind of like the double down.
Off this podcast and get into my car for a Taco Bell Cantina run right now. And
Go
just
get
that.
yourself
Yeah.
a naked chicken chalupa, especially if you've had a couple of beers. It is delicious. Everyone knows that's why Taco Bell exists.
And at a Taco Bell Cantina, you can get a few beers.
Yeah, I don't know where any of those are in
That's
the
the
LA
closest one that's to me, so...
Try this thing. It's going to be limited time. Hopefully they keep it kind of like the Doritos Locos Taco. Because I'm a diehard just Crunchwrap Supreme and Double Decker. That's all I get. And I don't know if I would ever get this thing again. But it is a really interesting take on American fast Mexican. Like, it's a really bizarre just... Check this out. And it's worth $1. I'd buy, like, if it was literally $1, yeah, I'd buy that for $1.
Buy 10
like,
of them.
Like I said, it's $3.50 though. So in terms of Taco Bell menu, it's a little pricey. Like, a Crunchwrap is
Yeah.
basically the same price, and this thing is not going to fill you. It's the size of the regular taco, but it's pretty damn good. And I got like perfect timing when I went. They literally just cleaned the grill, so it took like 4 minutes. Excuse me, it took like 4 minutes to get the thing, which is slow as shit for Taco Bell. So I have to imagine that mine was like the primo experience. Try this thing. So anyway, like I said, if you fund our show, less than it's about $50 a week. For a limited time, we'll call it $40 a year, rather. Month. I'm so out of it. $40 a month instead of $50. You could sponsor us. We could do an ad like that for whatever you pimp. I don't know if you make food, you make t-shirts, you have a website you want people to go to. We will do it. But before we get back to telling you all about that, this is Penny Thoughts. It's the original 2 cents closing segment where basically we're going to be talking about the news we already kind of have. And to give you a better understanding of who we are and what our opinions are, no, I got it right. Opinions are.
Well, you didn't say opinions. You said opinion.
Whatever. Okay.
You sound like how I feel on a week-to-week basis.
Here's our penny thoughts on our 2 cents. Our 2 cents on our penny thoughts. And I'm gonna start off with since I'm talking about fast food. I saw The Founder yesterday.
Nice.
real sad because no one has given this thing love. It's not on any best of the year lists. It got completely left out of all the award ceremonies, and that just breaks my heart because when I heard it was announced last year, I had this just notion that Michael Keaton could get the three-peat. He could be in 3 consecutive Best Picture winners, but nope, that's not the case. It's not even nominated, and I kind of understand why. It's kind of being pitched as the social network for McDonald's. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, you want to see one man who got famous. You want to see his story about how he took credit for something that a whole team of people did. Then, yeah, check this out. Shot really well. I was about 4 minutes late. I didn't miss anything. But when you're introduced to the original McDonald's location in San Bernardino and just how their kitchen works, how the Speedy system is created, how it's shot in terms of literally the original fast food restaurant, just so pretty. Like, I wish that you would get this segment during the Oscars where they go, and here's the founder, and you see this for like a minute and a half, and you would go, wow, I really want a cheeseburger, and I want to see this movie. But it's not bad. It's solid. Everyone's great in it. Nick
Just
Offerman.
fun, just kind of like,
It's
alright.
it's whatever. It's the Social Network, just not dark and gritty, and not about something that you really care about. It's McDonald's, and it's only about a certain period of their history, like 1954 to 19 maybe 70. So you don't cover much. They don't talk about the Big Mac. There's no breakfast food. It's just literally who is Jay Kroc, or Ray Kroc rather. How did he discover the McDonald's brothers, and what did it take to turn that into the world's biggest franchise? That's it. But it's an interesting look into just capitalism, and it is a story that I think a lot of people aren't aware of. A lot of people probably won't see it. Just a fun fact, my parents saw it today, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, it's Michael Keaton just continuing his good line of picks. I mean, he's been making really good movies. Spider-Man: Homecoming later this year, so I gotta love what he's doing in terms of his filmography. He's really padding it out, and yeah, this
He's
is
made
a solid
big
watch.
comeback.
It's a solid movie. It's just nothing anything special. It has a good ensemble. The music's pretty good, but
Basically, it's a John Lee Hancock movie, right?
yeah. What's some other stuff? I know the name. What's some other stuff he's done?
Saving Mr. Banks, The Blind Side.
Yeah, I know. Totally one of his movies. Even though Saving Mr. Banks had some really good emotional beats in it.
Yeah, he also did The Rookie and The Alamo.
Ton of Disney movies. Not this
Yeah.
one. This one's a Weinstein film. But yeah, like I said, I can't exactly recommend it, but if you like Michael Keaton, such as I do, I mean, I got a action figure of him on my desk. Batman, mind you. Batman Returns, to be more accurate. It's just fun to see where his career continues to go, and he does an interesting choice in terms of his accent in the movie. Some interesting period stuff too, especially the cars, the outfits, just like seeing how they were able to recreate the Midwest in the mid to late 50s. It's fun. The better movie I saw this week, even though my review would kind of say
Sound more
otherwise.
negative.
Yeah, I saw Moonlight finally. Great movie. It's not exactly a queer movie, and it's not gay enough for me at all.
I don't see why that's a criticism. Like,
Because it's being championed as the best queer movie of the year
Well, I
by
don't know,
like
it's-
GLAAD and actual people that vote on these things, and it's not bad. It's
I don't
just
know,
it doesn't
it's
say
not-
anything new.
it's not like I don't know. I'm not sure what gay enough means. This is more like it's more about someone who's just repressed all these feelings throughout their
I don't really get that.
youth and adolescence, and
Nope.
then just how all that just kind of fully just comes out at a certain point when they grow up
No, he never
and having
comes
to
out.
face that.
Never comes out. Never faces it. There's nothing there in the movie. It's really weird. It's
I
I-
disagree. Actually, I think there's a lot there.
no.
It's just not said at face value.
This movie is more of an experience than a film. There's a reason why it was a play that got unproduced. It feels like that. It has a great epic structure. It is told in these 3 acts that chronicle a different moment of Sharon's life, or Little, Sharon, and then Black,
Chiron.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I love the just the choices that Barry Jenkins did with that, and I really hope that he does win Best Director. He's more deserving, in my opinion, than Damien Chazelle. Denis Villeneuve also is pretty deserving this year. But, I love the music. I love the tone. It's
Just the
shot,
general feel. It's
yeah, the feel.
yeah.
It's shot so well. It's kind of like poetry in motion. Like it's a real place. Like this is South Florida. Like it feels like it. It's not something that you see often. Like it's an all black crew cast and like soundtrack. It's just like I say this in my Letterboxd review. The literal first thing you hear is "Every Nigger Is a Star."
Mm-hmm.
It's a good song. Kendrick Lamar famously sampled it at the beginning of "To Pimp a Butterfly." It's how Wesley Theory starts, and it's a little too on the nose for me. This is one of the front runners for not just Best Picture, but just about everything. Mahershala Ali already won the award. He won the SAG Award tonight. He's definitely going to win the Oscar. He is amazing in it. Not so great on Luke Cage, but hey, he's a real good actor, especially House of Cards, if you've seen that, which I would assume most people have. And I don't know. It's just maybe I have to watch it again in a couple of years.
Well, yeah, it's funny because it's like I can't quite say that I love it. Like I walked out of there and I was just like, I saw something really good that like felt very like just purely cinematic, and it's like
it's super personal too.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, like I'm not gonna praise this movie as genius, but it's just like it makes me look forward to seeing what Barry Jenkins is gonna do next.
Yeah,
I mean, I was fascinated for the most part. Like, it's a really just great story of just seeing somebody grow up and trying to find out who they are in an environment that is definitely not going to accept that. Like, when you say it's not gay enough for you, it's more
though.
like I'm watching it, though,
it doesn't say
like,
shit about that. It really doesn't. Like, homosexuality in black culture, or the black community rather, is one of the biggest things in America. It is not accepted more so than anywhere else. Any of the
I know,
other
that's the thing.
cultures.
It's someone trying to come to terms with that.
No, it
like,
has no commentary
on
on that. The commentary you get is just generic school bully fucking around with this kid, calling him gay, which happens to everyone in high school. Yeah. That's just something that happens. And so it doesn't use that to its ability.
That personally, though, then it's gonna make them snap. So it's like I don't know.
Like I've seen that. You basically get the fucking same thing in Remember the Titans with Ryan Gosling's character. You get this in like Lucas. You get
Ryan
this.
Gosling in that movie?
Yeah, he's the California kid, the quarterback from California, who everyone thinks is gay because he does yoga like on the field.
Jesus.
There are countless examples of films, not as good as this one, that do the exact same, getting bullied for being gay thing, except in this case, the character is actually gay, and you never really get any kind of exploration of what that means, which is what I didn't like. You never really even understand who this person is, and you could say maybe that's because he himself does not know who he is.
Yeah, and I could totally say that. But I would definitely agree with that point, because especially when you get to that third act, where they put on this mask, and then you just see it kind of broken down in the middle of a conversation. I don't want to describe the scene and ruin it, but it's on the phone, so it's just kind of like it's a very amazing moment where you just see someone's like just entire exterior just kind of shatter down, and then they're just lost from every moment on after that, and it's just really amazing to watch that unfold.
The best thing about this movie is the Criterion Collection closet video that you shared on Twitter.
Yes.
I love
that.
The Criterion Collection loved this movie enough that they invited Barry Jenkins to their office, and he literally took like 25 things home. Usually when you watch like one of those, they take like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I would take, if they had RoboCop on DVD, oh yeah, I want that. I want Royal Tenenbaums.
See, if
I want
was
the
on
out-of-print
camera
ones.
for that, I would right away just be like, okay, where is Armageddon? Because I've never seen anyone pick it. And
See?
I would probably just take it so I could be like, you know what, my copy is scratched to shit. I need a new one.
I would take Chasing Amy just to say, people don't know this is a Criterion pick, but
yeah, I would just point those out. It's like, hey, Armageddon's here. Also, The Rock is here.
Yeah. I want the out-of-print things. I want the stranger films that aren't embraced. Like, I'm sorry, but anyone can grab, like, a Kurosawa film.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Like, Miyazaki, like, whatever.
I would take the Blu-ray of Ikaru just because I don't have it yet. But
I don't, I wouldn't even know half the things in that closet. Mind you, I'm never going to get invited, but if I were to...
I would get Things to Come. I would get...
I would take Weekend, which is something that Barry Jenkins did take. Andrew Haig's film that he did before. It's basically like Before Sunrise, but for a gay couple. But it's more emotional. Really, really good. Actually, in my research that I was doing after we recorded Nine Lives, I found out that the DP of that, Xavier Gortez, or Goretz,
Shot
rather.
Weekend.
Yeah, he shot Weekend. He shot a lot of episodes of Looking. He did the Looking movie, and I can't remember what else. But he done a good enough. Like he did a couple episodes of In Treatment and such. That he is someone that has a body of work. Like he's not just a nobody. So yeah, you should see Weekend. Really solid. And I wish I had it on Criterion because there's a short on that also, which Hig did before. And I say this, and I still haven't seen 45 Years. I should.
That just came out, right?
No, I can't. That was last
Recently?
Oscar season.
Oh.
Yeah, it was his follow up. Like it was supposed to be really good, and I turned it on. I had a screener for it, and I was like, this is way too slow for me tonight, and I couldn't. It was like the same thing with L'Amour. I was like, way too so fucking slow. Speaking of Emmanuel, what's her last name?
The woman in Nell.
The woman from L'Amour, she died this weekend.
Oh.
So did Mary Tyler Moore and
I don't know
fucking
why I'm
John
thinking
Hurt,
about that.
and which is that. I think that's when I saw that one, I was like, no. I was like, fuck, no, because he was such a big deal for us on Death Cinema this year. Last year. I mean,
Yeah, he was on
Heaven's Gate,
Heaven's Gate.
and A Man for All Seasons.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, so listen to those episodes, see
I
those
mean,
movies.
yeah, first ones I thought of, like, I don't know why, just first one that came to mind for me was V for Vendetta.
Yeah, well,
Like, that's just the one
V
I
for
remember him the
Vendetta,
most by. Like, I remember Alien,
Alien,
of course, and of course Spaceballs.
The Elephant
for that
Man.
cameo. Yeah,
like-
yeah. Like V for Vendetta, it's just that's the role I remember, and maybe that just speaks to like when I grew up. But
It's
I
probably just the
I
movie
can't-
that you saw him in first that you know him as.
that'd
And I
be
think the
Alien,
same's for me.
actually.
Well,
But-
see, in Alien though, like I don't know, I kind of picture as
I
an
don't know.
old man.
I feel like maybe I've just been thinking of V for Vendetta quite a bit lately, given our political climate. But yeah, like just yeah, man, that one's it's sad.
Anyway,
But,
back to Moonlight. Yeah,
Sorry.
I didn't disenjoy it. I mean, it's a long movie, but it earns it. It's just
I gotta say this though. Sorry, just it being long. Like this is something that kind of irritated me about it. Is that I hate how some like low budget movies or independent films, like they will try to be very arty by having like these very monotone conversations with long pauses like back and forth in the middle, and like you can get amazing emotion and expressions from conversations like that in movies, but here it felt deliberate every time it did it. And I was just kind of like, good God, you're like lagging on purpose, and it's really frustrating.
well, it feels a lot like Boyhood, except it's several actors, not L.R. Coltrane throughout his actual Boyhood. It has the same kind of pace. Like
I don't think so. No, like the Boyhood conversations were much more naturalistic and
I
they
don't.
flowed. This
No, I
was,
don't
like,
mean the
had so many
conversations.
pauses.
I'm saying like in terms of this coming of age adventure. It is just as slow. Like there's certain moments in Boyhood where you're like, shut the fuck up, no one cares, okay?
Not for me. Like I really, granted, like Boyhood's not something I'm gonna watch all the time, but for the one time I saw it, I was just completely lost in it. Like as I was just like revisiting like these moments in time that I was familiar with, and just seeing someone grow up in a similar way that I did, even if I'm a few years older.
Moonlight's a beautiful movie. It's just not beautiful enough for me, and it sacrifices the way it's shot and the mood that it, or tone rather, well, mood also, that articulates in terms of an actual story. I think that there's a lot lacking in terms of what's on the page versus what's on the screen, and not that I didn't care for the story, but there were too many things missing that you had to fill the blanks in on that I would be very shocked if it won Best Picture, not because La La Land is more deserving or that voters in the Academy always pick movies about movies, but just because if it won in the same way that the first thing it fucking says in the movie is every nigger is a star, that I will be upset because it's going to seem like it won because it's a black movie and they have to kill Oscar So White.
Yeah,
And it's going to always be pigeonholed as that.
yeah, that'd be sad.
It would be very sad, especially if that won Best Picture, Denzel Washington, Viola Davis won Best Actor and Actress, and then also Mahershala Ali. Like, if literally every black person available or every woman available in categories won, it would be a joke, and it would just seem like it was like an anti-Trump movement, or it would be a further step back than the last 2 years where there were only white people nominated in all four major acting categories. It would be really, really depressing. But I think Barry Jenkins, like I said, is very deserving of Best Director, and I'm excited to see what his career unfolds to, just like you are. The better thing, probably the best thing I did this week, just because it's a first, and it's hard to have firsts in this world anymore. But I played this, I hesitate to say game, called Sports Bar VR on PlayStation. It's also available on Oculus and Rift. It's a VR sports bar, and so you find a lobby online, and you can play darts, you can play pool. There's whatchamacallit, there's air hockey, there's whatchamacallit, fucking skee ball. But that's not what it is. Like, you can do these things, but when I was in this...
If you say there's a way to integrate your drink and make it seem like it's a real drink, and you have
Sorta.
like a cup in front of you in the real world and you can reach for that, I will be amazed.
You can. You can spawn a beer bottle and pretend to drink it. You have props, like, at any given moment.
Like, does your room, like, scan a real pint that you have in your room and you can just...
Fuck off. No.
Well, okay, then I'm not visiting you the next time I'm in California until that happens.
Anyway, so in this bar, like I said, you can play these games. We didn't play anything. I saw some people cheat at skee ball, whatever. Like, that was kind of funny. Like, there was literally one person, like, in the goal area, and then a person throwing the balls to him, and he was, like, slam dunking into the 100 points. Like, it was so funny. But my first that I had, as soon as I got into the room, the host of the lobby, he, like, took a gun out and he started shooting at me. I was like, oh, why are you doing that? But, like, there's, like, a jukebox in the area that was playing music, and so he starts dancing. I start dancing with him. And so you can see the person's headset. You can see their controllers. It's using the Move controllers. Mm-hmm. And so I knew exactly where his hands were. Like, even though all I saw was these, like, recreation of his headset and controllers, I knew what he was doing. Like, we were dancing together in a digital space. And even though this game is not meant for that, you're meant to, hang out and play these games with people. And despite, like, no one else using a microphone and talking to me, it was like a muted experience. I still had a blast. Like, I paid $10 for the thing. It's supposed to cost $20. Even though I only played it for like that 45 minutes or an hour, in terms of the dancing and just messing around, it was a lot of fun. Like, I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. Like, it was ridiculous that I'd never had an experience like this before. Mind you, I've done Second Life, and, like, I've picked up an MMO before. Or, like, I used to play Diablo or whatever. I've played games online with people, whether that be like NBA 2K or whatever, where it's a similar idea. You have your avatar, you're playing a game together, except you're strictly playing that game, and this was the opposite of that. The game didn't matter. It wasn't that. It was an MMO. This is a social experience. It was like hanging out at a bar, and I don't know, it was like the best bar experience I'd had in a long time. But that was until last night when I actually did go to a bar. I got off work, I grabbed a drink. When I was going to drink, Zamir contacted me. Greg was going to be at this bar down on the east side of Long Beach, like literally a block from where I used to live. I go, there was a DJ residency called Girl School at the Good Bar and Eatery. Tons of fun. There were 3 female DJs. They had DJ Judith H. Christ, Baby Woodstock, and Lola Cherry Cola. They're spinning lots of cool stuff from like the 60s to now. It was mostly like 70s and 80s music. Like, they played some like Apollonia and some Prince, and I think the big hit for me though is like they were playing The Rapture, and that's why I was talking to you before airing. I was like, yeah, I'm so exhausted. It wasn't the booze. I didn't even drink that much. I danced so much. Like, one time, like, I think the only time I've ever danced more than that, I literally got cramps on the dance floor and I couldn't move. I had to have 2 friends carry me off the dance floor. Yeah, like my legs cramped up that bad. But it was almost that bad. Like, I was beyond breaking a sweat. Like, I was floating in it. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. If you're in the LA area, go find this bar on Instagram. Really good crowd. There was no cover. The drinks were priced competitively, and I've like seen their food on Instagram now, and it looks really good. But it was just funny because back in the day, I'd gone to that bar when it was called the Bull Bar. Completely different atmosphere, just like really boring, just like generic pool bar. And now it's like a cool hipster place with like arcade games and also pool tables, but like it's still a full-on kitchen, and like I said, the dancing was awesome. The DJs were really, really cool, and Greg was there too. It was fun dancing with him. We got some dance moves. and he has his own DJ residency on Tuesdays in LA at the Lash. So I'm probably going to go to that this Tuesday, even though it's my brother's birthday. Maybe I can drag him out. So yeah, I'd buy that one for $1. Definitely Sports Bar VR, even though like the price point, $20 is a little too much.
Yeah.
Just having that kind of experience, not even that it was in virtual reality, but just that I was having that. The control scheme's not the best thing, but it was a ton of fun. And mind you, I can still play pool in this thing, or darts, or skee ball,
Just
legitimately.
imagine what it'll be like when it improves.
Oh, I can't
And
imagine.
you can have your beer scanned and drink it in the real
Yeah,
world as well as in the game, and that's when I'll be in for that.
Maybe. Like I said, you could do that. You could have had a beer in one hand and the controller in another and pretend to drink your beer in the game while actually drinking your beer. And you could tell the people on the mic, I'm actually drinking a beer right now. They'd be like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Who cares? But yeah, no.
If you're in a
this
bar,
was
I don't give a fuck if you're going to be...
lots of fun. Definitely going back to see Girls School again. Maybe I'll tell them about my VR dancing next time. What about you, though? What are the things you checked out this week?
Well, while you were having a good time, I was sick last week,
Yeah, I
so
remember.
that meant a lot of use of my Amazon Instant account. So, yeah, I'll just name check some documentaries real quick and get on some other stuff. But I saw Gleason, I saw Misery Loves Comedy, and I saw the Oasis documentary Supersonic. All of them are on Amazon Prime. All of them are really good and worth checking out if you're interested in them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much to say, like, really, because, talking about documentaries is kind of funny to me. But, I mean, the Gleason one is heartbreaking. Oasis, hey, if you like their songs or just that band in general, it's worth it. And Misery Loves Comedy, hey, it's nice and insightful, like, conversations about comedy. I read Judd Apatow's Sick in the Head, like, constantly. I'm reading and rereading some interviews, like, when I got literally nothing to do. So I don't know, just the subject of comedy and that craft always fascinates me, and it's good for people that want to see that. I saw Bone Tomahawk finally.
Oh,
and
nice.
it
Were you
was
split on your decision?
What do you mean?
Huh?
Fuck you. Here's the thing. I decided that was the last movie I was going to watch that day, so I watched it really late at like midnight or around 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
It fucking creeped me the fuck out.
Oh, I
and
bet.
When the moment that you're referring to happens,
The wishbone scene.
like just that, oh god, and like just the sound of like that native call, how fucked up and eerie that is, just fucking haunted me for the rest of the night, and I just couldn't sleep. And like it, god, like yeah, I mean it was. I see why that movie came out in October now, because that's really a fucking horror movie, and that's probably when I should have watched it last year. But
Yeah, I think I saw it in November.
yeah, I mean, you know what's funny though is that I did think like that's the Kurt Russell movie that came out when The Hateful Eight came out. Like this should have been a Tarantino Western, really.
Basically,
like,
it is.
yeah, think about how fucking it would have been so much fucking creepier though, like if he did it. Not to diminish what it is, but like, yeah, Bone Tomahawk's a very small movie, and you can definitely feel that. But
Yeah,
you know, it has some really fun characters, there's some really fun back and forth quips that are thrown in there.
Did you see my review?
I remember we talked about this before.
You want me to read it to you?
You can go ahead if you got it in front of you.
It took 2 viewings to complete this flick, and I'm split in half on what I think about it.
Jeez. Yeah, you gave it 3 stars if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
right?
which is a little nice. It's closer to 2.5 for me.
Oh man, yeah. See, I full on like this would have been an honorable mention if I saw it.
Really?
In 2015. Yeah, like I thought it was great. You know, not like amazing. Like its budget definitely shows. It's kind of slow in some places, but then
Really slow.
when you get halfway through it, you just can't look away. And like,
Oh, yeah, halfway.
But it's really, really fuck you. It really just gets scary. But like, there's so many fun quips back there. Like, I was sad that spoilers for the first 5 minutes that Sig Heg
Fucking
takes
dies,
off early,
yeah.
because I mean he just throws in some really funny jabs, and I was laughing at a lot of the stuff that was being said in the first 20 minutes. Like, there's really some great just back and forth banter and just.
It just, if I
verbal
remember
shots thrown in
correctly,
there.
I mean, this is a while since I saw it now, like a year and some change. It kind of felt out of place for me, because yeah, you do have this, very like, oh, Fear the Natives type of movie. It's basically a Western horror, and yet
It's
have
like the horror version of The Searchers, except
you have
it's
really like funny dialogue from a lot of different people, and that just dies off at a certain point. Like it becomes a very serious movie, especially when they get to the cave. When they get to that cave, those final like 20 minutes or whatever are so intense, like
Like, they
Whiplash
still
level.
try to have a sense of humor, like throughout the
Almost.
thing, which
Yeah,
I think
mostly
it's good because it's there as relief. But
Almost has to like
Jesus.
like the fucking doctor. I remember like every time he's on screen, there's always something else that's wrong about him. Like, oh, what's wrong with like? But I don't remember it that well. I just
Then
the
Richard
wishbone scene.
Jenkins was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm sorry, that split scene, it was horrifying.
It's one of the best
to
things
watch.
I've ever seen on cinema.
Oh my god! You know, I don't think I'll rewatch this movie, maybe ever, but I won't forget that image. Just the pain that you feel in your groin while watching that.
Or
it's just,
Kurt Russell's facial hair too. I'll never forget
Oh.
that. Better
Oh,
than in
man.
Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight, like I think that was just his continuing it.
yeah, like he sported the same one. I think they may have
Yeah.
just altered it slightly. I'm not sure, or maybe he just grew it even more. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Like it's especially incredible for just how it was made, but like, you know, then again, it's also a Western shot on digital, which kind of irks me. You know, I know that's not fair, but just like there's just something about that seems wrong to me. And it's like, if this got the Tarantino treatment, I think it would have been amazing. Like this would have been definitely a much better movie to see on 70 millimeter than Hateful Eight. But yeah, Bone Tomahawk's pretty awesome. The last thing I saw, guess what weird Wednesday flick I saw last week?
Freddy Got Fingered.
No, I Know Who Killed Me.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You don't know what this is? This is the Lindsay Lohan movie that came out 10
Oh,
years ago.
I do know what that is. Yeah.
It is so amazing. Like, it's pretty stupid. Like
It's
she
like a
she
year or
literally-
two after Just My Luck, I think.
Oh yeah, no, like this was when her career like was just
Yeah.
dead, and like the premise is, I don't want to spoil it, but basically
She's dead and she knows who killed her.
the title's pretty dumb. Like, I can't spoil this movie because the reveal is so amazingly nonsensical. But like, basically, it's about you know, this high school girl who ends up getting kidnapped and disappears, and then they find her. But then it turns out that either she has amnesia or she's really this other person that she claims to be, which is
Sounds
an
like Split.
like. It's very different from that.
So, you know, Split
but-
would probably make for a real good double feature with Bone Tomahawk.
Oh man, like stop saying jokes, even though it obviously wouldn't. God, yeah, that image. I'm sorry, it's so fucking horrifying. No, I Know Who Killed Me is stupid fun. Do you remember the search engine Ask.com?
No. Oh, Ask? Yeah, Ask
Yeah.
Jeeves? Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Like, you know, her character literally like does a search on there for bleeding wounds unexplained. That's literally the 3 words that are on there, and that's just to give you an idea of how crazy and kind of, for lack of a better word, retarded the movie is. But you know what? It's always entertaining. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it has this. It's very stylish. Definitely has this David Lynch influence to it. It plays with the colors blue and red in a really interesting way. Has a kind of nice Hitchcockian score to it, so you know it's definitely got that slow burn thriller feel. I gotta say though, like it feels like it's intentionally funny in places too, because there's just a way that some things are written here where it's like I feel like they have to be in on the joke on this. So yeah, this thing is dumb, but I totally recommend it. Like, I thought it was pretty awesome, to be honest.
I've seen most everything Lindsay Lohan's in. I like her generally, even when it's bad. So, like, did I see both Herbie movies? No, there's only one.
I think there may have been a
there's
straight to
only
DVD sequel or something.
I
But you know, funny thing, they played a Freaky Friday trailer on 35 before the movie, and like I just
definitely
thought,
saw
oh,
that.
that's a great choice.
Yeah, it's not a bad remake.
No, it's a lot of fun.
It's not a bad remake of a remake. But yeah, no, I definitely saw Herbie Fully Loaded, and I think I checked it out because Michael Keaton was in it. He plays her dad. But yeah,
Hey, well, if you want to see her pole dancing as a stripper,
I do want to see that. Actually, I'd be interested in that.
a one-legged pole dancer. By
I
the way,
saw
who's not Rose
fucking
McGowan.
whatchamacallit. What's that movie? I don't remember the name right now. It's like Blue Ice or some shit. And I watched it because Jessica Biel's topless in it as a stripper, and it was worth watching for that. I think it's called Blue Powder. yeah, that's it. Bad movie, real bad movie. But yeah, if you want to see what Justin Timberlake fucks, then hey, it's pretty good for that reason. But then again, you can like go on Mr. Skin or just Google it, Justin Biel's tits, and see exactly what I saw without having to watch 2 hours of a bad movie.
I'm on record here saying that I Know Who Killed Me. That's a good bad movie. Like it's very stupid, but it's amazing.
Lindsay Lohan is due for some kind of comeback soon because if Winona Ryder can get one with Stranger Things, then Lindsay Lohan deserves one. It's been a while since she did something stupid. Same goes with Amanda Bynes. Like, I hope that she makes a comeback too because she was really talented.
I don't know. Machete was the last thing I think I saw Lindsay Lohan in.
Oh yeah, she's bad in that.
Yeah.
She's bad in most things nowadays. Like The Canyons, I try to like that movie. It was one of the final things I wrote a review for on Dollar Reviews on the Tumblr. I did one for that. Good review, like in terms of my writing, but
pat yourself on the back.
It was good. But no, yeah, I'll never watch that movie again. Like it was no. But yeah, I hope she gets a comeback. Both of them, or either or, in the next couple of years, because I don't know, they're both really talented. Like they could have easily been Emma Stone.
Well, I know what movie killed Lindsay Lohan's career, so.
A lot of them.
And that's the one I saw, so.
No, it was a lot of them.
That's probably, it was such a flop that.
It wasn't.
I think you could solidify that one as just being the one where it's like, okay, yeah, she's done. Cause
she was just in too many things too fast that she got so big that she couldn't handle it, and it's just the pitfall of being a child star. It doesn't matter how talented you are or how successful or how much money you have, you're gonna fall victim to it. Look at the Ashley twins,
the Olsen twins,
whatever, Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, Macaulay Culkin, Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, Danny Bonaducci. Like you can list off so many child stars that just they couldn't do it. Either Drew Barrymore to a certain extent until she turned her life around, Jodie Foster almost. Like you have too much money, you do too many drugs, you party too much, and you do stupid stuff, get in trouble with the cops, and the public just turns their back on you, and there's nowhere to go but down, and so they go there. And I think in today's age, given that you can create your own media with Twitter, or even better yet with something like YouTube, and we're all about forgiving and forgetting, that I would love to see Lindsay Lohan in something else, maybe a true Mean Girls sequel, like a new Freaky Friday.
I think she's trying to campaign to get one made.
I wouldn't be against that. I mean, they already did the direct to
DVD one.
Yeah, so just retcon that, forget that exists, in the same way that there's like that Legally Blonde. It's called Legally Blondes, and it's like a spin-off threequel that no one talks about because why would they? I think they're supposed to be like Elle Woods' like nieces or something stupid.
I've never seen either Legally Blonde.
Really? That first one's pretty good. That could be a Debt to Cinema. Like
I knew you were going to say that. That's exactly why I told you.
It's in like the miscongeniality territory.
I've never seen that either.
Of pretty good movie that's not miscongeniality is more of a.
It's all right.
No, I'm just gonna say I was gonna call it a chick flick. I don't think they're either chick flicks. Like they're both they got similar like just interesting choices where it's female starred and like it's kind of set up in a way, but in terms of Legally Blonde, you have like this ditzy blonde who decides she wants to go to Harvard Law. From being like the president of a sorority to Harvard Law, and then Miscongeniality, you have this tomboy FBI agent who's turned into like a beauty pageant contestant, and they both have like real interesting, almost thriller like procedural elements going on in them. Both really good movies though, like solid, like real funny, and I've seen both good amount of times. And they both suffer from the same thing in that they were so successful, they got sequels, and the sequels both suck. Which sucks. Real sad when that happens. But yeah, if you like what we've been talking about in terms of movies, we do a lot of reviews, most notably on Debt to Cinema, which is our semi-topical list of shame show. Like I said, we got possibilities there. The one that we have coming out this Wednesday is Dancer in the Dark. That's Bjork.
The anti-musical.
Oh, sure. Lars von Trier and Bjork.
It is an anti-musical.
We got Nine Lives from 2005. Not the one with the cat that came out this year. This is a series of single-take film shorts that are told in anthology nature. Really, really good. Really interesting.
Had a good talk on there.
Samurai Cop. a couple weeks ago. If you like really bad movies that are cult classics,
Yes.
Tricked, which by the way I found out is on Netflix. I saw the documentary just 2 nights ago. I didn't have to watch it, but I'm happy that I did.
I disagree. But
I don't think it would have led to a better conversation, but yeah, there are some really interesting things that Verhoeven says there, and it does flesh out the movie in a better way. Mean Streets by Scorsese, we mentioned that earlier in the show. We did that, and then in terms of scary stuff, we did a lot of stuff over like Christmas and Halloween. The big one was Black Christmas, which we had Brendan from Scream 101 on, who now works for Blumhouse. So congrats to him once again. I hope to read more stuff that he's done, and he's going to be joining us in just a couple of weeks now for our My Bloody Valentine episode. But if you like more recent releases, we do those too. This award season, we did Elle and La La Land. Earlier in the year, we did Green Room, Swiss Army Man, Sing Street. Very sad that both Swiss Army Man and Sing Street were knocked out of the Oscars. Biggest snubs. I mean, it would have been cool if Daniel Radcliffe got a Best Actor nod, but how both of them didn't get nominated for Best Original Song, I really don't know. There's like 3 amazing songs in Sing Street. There's one really good one in Swiss Army Man. Instead, La La Land.
Several really good ones in Swiss Army Man.
But instead, La La Land gets
There's just this
2
reoccurring
nominations.
melody in Swiss Army Man that's great. That just it should be there for
Yeah.
Best Original Score even. Like
Fucking
So
instead,
good.
let's nominate the audition song and City Full of Stars.
well, the audition
City of
song's really
Stars.
good. City of Stars is
Boring and
Yeah.
unoriginal and not singable, but it's the
City of Stars.
it's the big song
blah,
from the
blah,
movie.
Blah, blah. I don't fucking remember the rest of it. Yeah.
I have it on my computer. I got a free download for buying the ticket from Fandango, and I've listened to it a good amount of times. And
I just
has-
remember the line is City of Stars, and that's it.
yeah, it has a good melody, but no, like audition song. I said it during our episode. It's gonna win Best Original Song. It has to. But Drive It Like You Stole It, or Secret of the Model, or fucking even like Brown Shoes or Up. Okay, like there's so many good songs in Sing Street, and no one's even seen it, and that's really sad because it's on Netflix. Anyone can watch it basically for free. Please do so. It's amazing. John Carney put out a really fantastic, just coming of age, feel good musical, a real musical, not La La Land. So please check that out. Write to the Academy, say, hey, go fuck yourselves. Why'd you give La La Land 14 nominations?
Are you gonna write that?
I wish I had that kind of clout, that someone would listen to me say that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna shit on La La Land. It's in my top 10. I love that movie.
No, it's in my
but,
top 10
I mean,
too,
Yeah,
but-
I wish that Sing Street did get more recognition. I mean, it's. But then again, it's like I don't care. I'm not gonna be watching this ceremony. The nominations came out. It's like, all right, it's as expected. The wins are gonna come out. It's like, it's probably gonna be what it's expected. It's the Oscars, but these movies are going to be around forever, and Sing Street's going to be talked about forever by you. Swiss Army Man's going to be talked
Oh, yeah.
about forever.
Not
And
La
hey,
La
yeah,
Land.
like I will probably own La La Land as well when it comes out. I might talk about it less so, and it's probably sadly going to get that overrated staple put on it. But
I think
hey,
it
I
already
remember.
has.
I saw the movie before it was as huge as it is now. I loved it then. I
This
hope
is
that when the
exactly
conversation dies over, it'll still be a great movie.
This is exactly what's going to happen with La La Land, and we talk about it just minorly in the episode. It's going to become 500 Days of Summer. It's going to win
I don't mind that.
probably every award it's nominated for. It's going to walk away with more than 10 Oscars, which, it's deserving. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's like I love
And
the movie. I'm not going to shit on it, but it's like I
it's-
personally don't care if it
like,
wins or if it doesn't.
social media at large is going to go crazy, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere without hearing about it for probably like 4 months or something like that. Like, it's just going to
Yeah.
take the world by storm in a way that it hasn't already. And it's like Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, even though they're already pretty damn famous, are going to be like skyrocket to superstardom, and Damien Chazelle is going to be like America's new favorite director, and
Yeah.
you're gonna see people enter like, have you heard of this movie Whiplash that he did? And you're like, where the fuck were you during that year? Like, you don't remember that one winning Oscars, but
Oh, J.K. Simmons won, and that's all people cared about.
yeah.
Oh, wait, did Whiplash win for editing? I can't remember. I know it got nominated, but
I know J.K. Simmons won.
yeah.
I think it got best screenplay. It might have got.
adapted. That's right.
It-
'cause it was
It was a
fucking-
short. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
it was a Blumhouse short. But yeah, I think it might have got editing, which it had pretty good editing. I still think I don't know. I have to look at the nominees again. I think Arrival, out of the picks, if I remember them correctly, has the best chance. I can't remember what it is. I remember
For editing?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
Even though it's got that documentary in the middle that drove you nuts.
Yeah, but just in terms of how the storytelling is done.
Yeah, it's very
through
well
the
constructed.
editing
The beginning,
is really
yeah.
good. But I can't remember what it is right now. But I saw something a couple of months ago, and I remember maybe we were talking about it on the show where I was just impressed by the editing, which is something that never happens. I was like, wow, this is really fucking good. So maybe I'll have to listen back to some of our stuff to try to find out what
You
that
said
was.
that about something.
It was about I can't remember what it is right now though.
Yeah. God damn
It
it.
doesn't matter. Let's get the show going on. I can figure it out
Yeah.
after. So like I said, we've been talking for a long time. We did that ad earlier for Taco Bell. We can make that happen. Go to patreon.com/dollarreviews. You can see what our incentives are for funding us. We do this for free. It's not like Kickstarter where you pay us and then we do more
and
episodes. No,
Can
like
I interrupt you for a second? I think I remembered it. You said Demolition, right?
Demolition. Yeah,
That's the one, yeah.
yeah. That should have got nominated for best editing. That
It
was
just
some,
hit me just now.
some great fucking editing. Yeah, you can go to Patreon, see what we do. $1 a month would be awesome. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's enough for a rental on Amazon. That's enough for a bargain bin DVD. I go to a thrift store that I can get for $1, so that's a lot of movies for me. And then if you want to be even nicer than that, like $5 a month, me and Steve could split that. Hey, that's a tip at a bar, so the bartender doesn't think we're cheap. But anything helps, and you can see the incentives. You can make your own. You can just send us an email. Be like, hey, here's a $5 bill. Whatever. It doesn't have to be recurring, but anything would help because it really would be nice. Like I drank some tea earlier. I use chapstick every episode. I'm gonna put some on right now. Carmex isn't cheap. It's like $1 a container. $1 a month, you could keep my lips salivated, so I don't get cracked shit going on, and I can keep on talking endlessly while having to take water breaks and stuff. That would be cool.
Please donate us money. We would love you very much.
Okay.
That didn't sound creepy at all, did it?
No, it sounded very creepy. It was perfectly not gonna be a reason for people to Patreon us. But here's the
Hey,
headlines.
we'd really appreciate it. How about that? I got to try to entertain and surprise people, right?
Here's the headlines. There's not many this week. It was an altogether slow news week, but the couple that we do got here are really impressive. I'll start off with Comcast because, hey, Wanda's not on the news, so let's keep it stateside. So Comcast, a.k.a. NBC Universal, a.k.a. Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes, plus Fandango now, is looking to add wireless phone service to its cable bundles by the middle of this year. What that means is the world's biggest cable provider is soon going to be providing wireless carrier coverage to their subscribers, and this would put them up nicely against AT&T, Time Warner / DirecTV if that merger goes through, where you have someone who produces content both on TV and in theaters, having a vehicle to just not promote that but distribute it, and also you can make phone calls all in the same bill. This is called vertical integration. It's also known as monopoly. It is very scary, but the only thing better than one being out there is two, because when you have two vertical integrated companies, that means that there's competition and there isn't a monopoly. So I hope this happens. I sincerely do. It would be less scary. Like, one company can't take over the world if an equally big company is doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So who knows where this goes next? I mean, we know that Sprint bought a stake in Tidal last week. They could merge with T-Mobile, and then maybe they buy something. Who knows what it is? Maybe they merge with like not DirecTV, but Dish Network or something like that. But I don't know. But I mean, Comcast has so much money that they got to spend it before they can't make anymore. And it's really funny because the other big news item this week is that Verizon is contemplating a buyout of Charter Communications, who are the second largest cable provider after they merged with Time Warner Cable this past year. So if Verizon buys Charter Communications, they'll be the second biggest cable provider behind Comcast, and they'll be offering both a cable, internet, and phone service. They wouldn't have the media themselves. Like, Verizon owns certain things, especially since they own AOL and they're about to own Yahoo. So that's a lot of media potential there, but in a more internet facing thing, not consumer facing. But the funny thing here isn't that it would be the world's or America's largest content provider, both in terms of wireless coverage, internet, and cable, like I said, but this Comcast phone plan that is being rumored, or not even rumored, that is coming at some point this year, is going to be using Verizon cell towers. So it's like,
It's collusion, right?
basically,
Yeah.
basically, how ironic is that Comcast is trying to become an everything in one to compete with AT&T, and they have to work with Verizon, who's looking to do the exact same thing. So
That's illegal, right?
there's nothing illegal about that. They'd be paying for their spectrum. It's not free, and they're not getting anything from Comcast except money. It's not like they're going to be gifting them Charter. They don't own Charter. That's a competitor. But yeah, that would set up three companies. You have Comcast to NBC Universal / phone, AT&T, Time Warner, DirecTV, and then Verizon, Charter, Time Warner, Cable. That's three of the companies doing basically the same exact thing, and then you just need a couple more. Who would it be? Maybe Verizon buys Columbia Pictures and Sony wants to back out of that. They got their movie studio.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? I don't know. And we're going to find out in just probably like 3 or 4 months now. That's probably going to be how long it takes for us to know if this AT&T merger is going through. If it does, then all hell breaks loose and anything is possible. If it doesn't, then I can't see it not happening, to be honest. Just because these other big industry, like, fucking monsters, these Goliaths, these titans of media are doing the exact same thing in reaction to AT&T, that if one fails, they all fail, and then that looks real bad for the stock market, and that looks bad for America, and then we have to outsource jobs. So it can't. The way you make America great again is by making it a powerhouse. So it's the beginning of the end, in terms of the little guy.
Either way you go, right?
Yeah, there is no little guy anymore. Like, I swear, like probably the day of AT&T merging, that is gonna be the day that Sprint and T-Mobile announced they're gonna merge. And like I said, it's probably gonna be with Dish Network, and then maybe they get the movie studio, or they make their own movie studio, or maybe the Netflix fucking buys in too. Like, you can't even predict this stuff because it's so crazy that it seems like a joke when you talk about it. That's easy. Yeah. What can you do about it?
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
It's not like no, it's more just like an apathetic, like
An apoptotic?
No.
What?
apathetic, like you know, just kind of like jeez. Yeah.
It's funny. It's like that was the big item this week. That's how slow the week's been. That, just huge companies getting bigger. That's the big item. Who
I
cares?
feel like I should be angrier, and yet I just don't.
You can't be
know.
angry because the AT&T.
Well, it's like, yeah, every
it's like
time I'm
the AT&T
part of it is-
deal is so much bigger because that is one of the biggest movie studios on the planet, who also makes TV content and comic books. They outright own DC Comics, joining in with the second largest wireless provider, the largest satellite provider, and also internet and cable. Like, you can't.
It just wears you out after a certain point. You're just kind of like, just like.
Like, we talked about that for like
Just
2 or 3 weeks straight,
weary, yeah.
and now it's like, oh, it's already happened, even though it has been approved. It's already happened.
But Old Man River, he just keeps rowing.
It's like
along.
the saddest part too is if this new chairman of the FCC is gonna try to eliminate net neutrality, that means Verizon, Comcast, and AT&T are gonna.
Then they control the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you have 3 companies like that who are versatile, they're basically going to own all of the internet in terms of what kind of providers you have. They make the rules.
Hey, drain the swamp, right?
Something like that. Like, it's
Yep.
gonna it's gonna be tough. Like, can you imagine if how the internet just changed. Instead of paying X number of dollars a month, instead it worked kind of like your mobile plan where you had to pay X number of dollars for this amount of data. And like the unlimited internet plan is like $500 or something outrageous because they can do that. But it's free if you also have our TV package with our phone package with our this. Then you have unlimited data, but only if you do that. Only if you're part of the entire family. If you only pay one bill every month, then it's gigantic. I mean, T-Mobile's trying to combat this. They announced this thing where if you leave DirecTV now and AT&T and come to T-Mobile, they give you Hulu Plus for a whole year for free. Like that's
Really?
so. I mean, that's not bad. But yeah, that's out there right now. Like you can already do that, which is kind of funny. It wouldn't be a bad
Nice.
thing too, because like it pays for the one without commercials. So hey.
Yay.
I actually did this like really weird thing this week. I was thinking about changing my data plan because I have 2 gigs of data. I wanted 3. I called them at like 6 a.m. to see if I could do that. They picked up the phone. I don't know if she was actually British, but she had a British accent, and they picked up like
You're
right
lucky
away.
if you got that.
Yeah, they picked up right away, and we had a conversation for a little bit. She's like, "Oh no, you need the T-Mobile One plan." I was like, "Yeah, I thought so." She's like, "It's only $20 more than what you pay now." I was like, "Yeah, I know." And it's like $20 isn't that much considering I'd go from 2 gigs of data to actual unlimited or like 28 gigs. But it's like I'll wait until I get promoted or something, or I get a better job. Like until then, yeah, I don't really need it. Like I very rarely, no, every month I go over my 2 gigs, but like not by a lot, like just like a little bit. Just a little bit, so it's like it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah, I finally got a data plan right now, but I've used like less than half a gig already, and I'm gonna have to repay for it this month. So, like, yeah, I'm barely using it now.
I mean, it's my thing
It's
is
always off too. Like, I'm usually just using Wi-Fi somewhere, but I guess it's good to have in case I don't know. I need maps or something, and I don't know where I am.
yeah,
but
I would say most of the data that
just
I
get a ride
use,
share.
it's for apps or like say like I'm using Snapchat or I'm at the bar and I'm reading up on Twitter for the show or yeah, like there's an emergency situation where like maybe I'm buying movie tickets on the road or I don't know, like it happens enough that I can't imagine not having data because yeah, there is Wi-Fi just about everywhere, especially if you live in a city that's very just pedestrian friendly. But even still, like in that off chance that yeah, your car is broken down and you need an Uber or whatever or Lyft, I guess, because Uber's the devil now. That you kind of it's almost a necessity. Like it's hard to get by without it. Like, that's why these content providers are becoming the new big thing in American business. Because without them, you're nothing. You got nothing without your phone now, and they know that, and that's why they are the ones who are in power. That's why the Comcast, Verizons, and AT&Ts are the ones who are going to be trying to take over the business world. It's obvious. Like without the data, without the connection to the source, without tapping into the internet, you got absolutely nothing. And
So, yeah,
they
I
got
like
hip
that I
to
can
that.
at least shut that off every once in a while, and it's like, yeah, I'm good. But
But you're not. We're recording this over the internet right now.
we are. Yeah.
Like I'm paying Charter to do this right now.
Well, I mean, the internet, it's like it's a tool that's really awesome, but it's not like necessary in that like it doesn't dominate my life. I can always turn it off easily.
I can't. Like I need. It's not that I need to be connected to the internet. Because, yeah, I can go, like, a day without using my phone or anything and just read or whatever or, like, exercise. Or it's especially easy when you have people around you, just talking to them, maybe playing a board game or playing cards. Like, no, it's very easy. But when you're by yourself and it's, like, 3 a.m. and what are you going to do? Of course you're going to turn on Netflix and, like, binge something for a couple episodes. It's
Or
just,
just sleep.
nah, that's boring. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Or just lay on your back and brainstorm for your script. I don't know, something.
I don't have to brainstorm. I just got to not be lazy. Like I said, I got a notebook with lots of notes. The script's done. I just have to type it out. It's done. Like
Yeah, see, I don't know. Like, I fully changed my way of doing that. Like, I only use that stuff kind of when I need it, like when I need to de-stress, you know? It's like, rather than just using what I have on me to, like, cure boredom, that's really not what it's good for anymore. Because then I just feel shittier as a person if I keep doing that.
well,
But, yeah, kind of getting off topic there.
we talked about non-industry stuff for enough now that I guess we can talk about some movies. Like I said, La La Land is nominated for 14 Oscar nominations, which is tied for the most ever with Titanic and All About Eve, two big winners. The real shocker in the noms, though, isn't who was included or not. It's not the snubs, it's not the actors, it's not any of that shit. Instead, it's that Google Spotlight series standout Pearl, which I, mind you, haven't seen, has been nominated for Best Animated Short. And this is notable because it's the first time that a VR narrative has been part of the ceremony. Oculus notably won an Emmy for its Henry short that I wish I could see, but I don't have an Oculus device, so I fucking can't. But yeah, this, I mean, it's not necessarily getting nominated because it's in VR. You can watch a 2D version on YouTube. But if it were to win, this is going to be a big deal. It's not because Piper, of course, is going to win because it's fucking Piper. But still
That's
really
the
cool.
Pixar one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Pixar one. That
Oh,
was
you said Pixar's or Piper's fucking Piper.
yeah,
Right?
Piper's the one that
I thought you
was.
said who's fucking Piper.
No, it's attached to Finding Dory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that short was probably the best part
Yeah,
of that.
it was the best part of Finding Dory,
Yeah.
especially in 3D. That sure was
Oh yeah,
was really
Well,
good.
No, I didn't see that in 3D. What am I saying? I believe it though.
I love that Pixar didn't get nominated this year. The Disney got nominated twice instead.
That's right. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Because Finding Dory, it's like, yeah, it's all right.
It's like
That's good.
no, it's like Moana and
Zootopia.
yeah, Zootopia. Zootopia
Yeah, which is
better
really
win.
good.
Better win.
Or Kubo could win.
Kubo could, but I don't see it. I mean, I love that it got nominated for Best Visual Effects, which apparently is the first time an animated
yeah,
feature has
see,
been
and that-
nominated since 1993 for Night Before Christmas.
I don't know. That's part of what irritates me about that movie is that it's considered this crowning achievement in stop motion. Then I don't know. I see it. I'm just like, well, I see more CGI in there, and I'm not really able to appreciate the artistry like that's done with the hand crafting. And I don't know. It's like when when they show that thing in the credits of like, oh, wasn't it awesome that we built this thing? And like I looked at it during the movie, and I was just kind of like, it looked like CG to me. So I don't know. It's just it was tough to appreciate. It just feels more like a visually effects driven movie than something that someone built with their hands. Like I got so many issues with that movie, which is probably weird for a lot of people, but yeah.
I got issues that Suicide Squad got nominated for Best Makeup and Hair, and that
It's Killer Croc.
no,
and
not even that.
Harley
Just
Quinn.
instead of people going, "Yeah, good job, DC," Twitter was like, "Suicide Squad is officially nominated for more Oscars than X movie," and you're like, "So, like you're
More
lucky."
Oscars than Sing Street.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and Transformers when one of those comes out usually gets nominated for like 3 different things. What's your point?
Sound and visual effects.
Yeah, it's like sound, visual
13
effects.
Hours got nominated. Cool.
Yeah, I got sound design. I think it was, or
Yeah, sound mixing or sound design, one of the two, not
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah, it
but
was-
you know what? Hey, it's another thing where it's like, hey, I still don't care about the Oscars. The nominations came out; they were fine. They were kind of what I thought they would be. There weren't really any surprises.
yeah, there's a couple surprises.
I mean, well, although it was interesting to see like some things just were completely shut out. But yeah,
Yeah, Sing Street.
well, yeah, but I don't know. They weren't really pushing hard for it. Like I don't know, Nocturnal Animals didn't get anything.
I wasn't expecting that. That was like a weird
it-
Golden Globes inclusion.
It's a movie that came out during Oscar season. So
It's like Hell or High Water getting nominated for Best Picture. I thought was weird because
Yeah.
like the indie circle.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I still haven't
Or
seen
no?
it. It's just
Oh.
in terms of the indie crowd, like yeah, everyone is raving about it all year, but it didn't get an Oscar push. Like
Yeah, well, it was on the AFI top 10, so
yeah, but
that's validation enough.
well, that's kind of
I guess,
it.
but-
It wasn't nominated at the PGA, DGA, SAG, Golden Globes. Like it kind of was left out of all the other ceremonies. Like, I think
and it's
Deadpool.
not that great either. To be
Deadpool would have been the big one, Like
Yeah.
most of the internet's making a big deal because Amazon has now landed a Best Picture nominee. Cool. I tried to watch Manchester by the Sea this week. I fell asleep halfway through it. It is that kind of movie.
honest. Oh fuck you!
I'm not saying it's bad. It's that kind of movie.
I know.
It's,
I don't know.
it's a deliberately slow pace. The editing also doesn't help. That it's told in a
I'd say
fragmented
it's
linear
deliberately
fashion.
raw, not deliberately slow.
It's
but
slow, man.
it's long, but
It's long
I'm
and
sure as
slow.
hell was not bored.
I like, for the most part, linear movies.
Yeah,
Not
it's-
here's a
there's
thousand different
good-
flashbacks.
There's a good reason why it's structured that way.
I'm sure there is, and I'll get to it when I finish
Mm-hmm.
it. I have a feeling like I'm just gonna pick it up where I left off because I don't want to watch.
How far are you?
His house just burnt down,
That's part of the reason why it's structured that way. But
so I got halfway through. I was
yeah,
like,
see
man,
that
I'm real tired. I just went to sleep.
yeah, okay. I mean that's usually a moment in the movie where I'm just kind of like holy shit, and the rest of the audience is like, "Oh my fucking god, I can't believe that's happening." But
Yeah,
well, your reaction's your reaction, man.
fire wasn't good enough. I guess I don't know. Is that the Ben Affleck boy? No, it's Casey Affleck. Oh, okay. Um, here's some movie stuff though, and there's two really really big ones, and it's because they're directors that we talk about a good amount. We did an episode for Green Room, Jeremy Saulnier, big dude, cool dude,
Yeah.
Blue Ruin. Also Horror Party, which I saw this Halloween. He's got a new movie. It's going to be on Netflix. It's titled Hold the Dark. So that's pretty big, not just because it's on Netflix or that he's got another movie, but that this one's an adaptation, so it's his first work that he hasn't written himself. It's a family drama / wolf survival thriller set in Alaska.
Oh fuck you! You can't do that.
It's what
Joe Carnahan did it.
No, this isn't
You
like
can't-
that.
No
This
one
is
else can do it.
this is more like
I'm just
this.
being a dick.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's like I think like the daughter gets like kidnapped by the wolves and they like call in this tracker to try to find them or I don't know, so fucking something like that.
Really? What is it like? Bone Tomahawk with wolves?
Maybe, yeah, yeah. But it's Jeremy Saulnier,
Oh,
so
jeez.
who knows
Yeah.
how gruesome this could get? I'm excited. It's Netflix, which is really interesting. So there's not going to be a
I
rating.
mean, they got
on
a lot
it.
of. They got Bong Joon Ho's latest coming up.
It's different though.
They got David Ayer's latest, so it's like,
That's-
yeah, they're getting a lot of
See,
stuff.
David Ayer is the real one because that's an actual production. That it's
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, and so is this. This is in house. So this is, I would almost guarantee, is going to land before Bright does, just because they are in pre-production on that. Like David Ayer like tweets out some pictures and stuff, and so does Max Landis. But this, just based on the concept, has to seem like maybe like a $20 million movie. I know they're shooting in like Calgary and also Morocco, but it can't be expensive. Like probably shooting on set, like for that locations is probably the expensive part. I have a feeling like this could be on Netflix this year. Just how fast they are able to turn around certain things.
We'll see. I doubt they're going to do the festival route or
No.
anything for that.
Yeah, just fuck it. We made it. We announced it.
Yeah.
Just put it on Netflix. It works. Do it. I mean, think about that new Adam Sandler movie, Sandy Jenkins, or whatever the fuck it's called. We knew that there was another one, and just like there's another one after
When
this.
is that coming out? Because
It's like in
this
a-
is the first time I'm hearing it.
Exactly, right? It's like in 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, they put the trailer online, and it's like, here it comes. And there was no build up to it. Nothing. It's just, oh, we got another one, it's coming. And if this wasn't a notable filmmaker, if Jeremy Saulnier wasn't like one of the big, hip, young directors, like him, James Ponsel, Damien Chazelle, fucking...
it wouldn't be news.
yeah, it wouldn't be news. It's just because he's a big guy. It's kind of like Cary Fukunaga. Like, what's he doing now? Like, after Beasts of No Nations, he kind of disappeared. I wonder what he's been busy with. And speaking of James Ponsel, though, he's got another film, which is really strange because The Circle is still not even out yet. He's on post on it. This is also going to be an adaptation, so who knows if he's ever going to write something original again. But this is an adaptation of Inconstant Moon. It's a story, or a short story, about a couple on the verge of breaking up just hours before a possible catastrophic event. So just on paper, kind of reminds me of, what was that, Kirsten Dunst, Lars Van Trier movie? Not Melancholia.
Melancholia.
No, the other one. Is there another one that, or is that the one I'm thinking of, where it was like the
Melancholy is the one where the planet called Melancholia crashes into the Earth and everyone dies.
yeah? So it kind of reminds me
That's
of that
not a
movie.
spoiler, by the way. That
No,
happens
yeah,
within
like 5
the
minutes.
first 10
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
on paper, it kind of reminds me of that premise.
And I'll probably mention that movie when we watch Dancer in the Dark.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie.
So this is going to be produced by Sean Levy's 21
Melancholia,
Laps,
yeah.
who has done a lot of big things lately, Stranger Things, Arrival, and also James Ponsel, It's Spectacular Now. So he's going to be producing that. Who knows when this is coming out? Like, that's Prey that The Circle is released before this is released.
It's still slated for April, but we still have not seen anything.
Anything.
Yes, some point next month, maybe.
Like,
I don't
there's
know.
production stills you can find. There's some
Hey,
set
10
photos.
Cloverfield Lane was announced 6 weeks before
That's
it even came
different.
out.
That's like a secret project. That's a very hush-hush Cloverfield J.J. Abrams bad
I'm
robot
just saying
thing.
you could still market something out of nowhere to a public and then
Eh.
make it interesting. So who knows? I
No,
don't know.
this is a star power. This is Tom Hanks, man. Like, movies of
When's
his.
the last time he had a big hit here, though?
Sully was kind of big. Cloud Atlas was
I
fairly
guess,
big.
yeah. No, Cloud Atlas tanked.
It was no, not for me.
That movie was great, but it tanked like big time.
It was fairly big.
That was a flop.
I mean, he was in Demons or fucking not Angels of Demons.
Inferno.
Inferno, yeah.
Also a flop.
Here it was. I think like his last honest to goodness like hit.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah, I was gonna say Captain Phillips, and then also Flight was like. No, he's not in Flight. What the fuck am I?
No,
I'm
that's
thinking.
not him,
I'm thinking
no.
of Sully. Yeah.
Yeah, Sully did well.
I mean, Toy Story. He'll be in Toy Story 4. I think that's 2019.
Okay, but that you can chalk the success of that franchise up to more than just Tom Hanks. I mean, just his power alone, his star power. Like how long has it been?
When
that
the
it's been
first
that
Toy
big?
Story came out, no, I'm gonna chalk it up to his star power and fucking Steve Allen or not Steve Allen.
And Disney.
No, that wasn't Disney yet. That was Pixar. But
No, but Disney's brand was all over that, and they were the studio that's been making Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion
I think
King.
that's more.
They were trusted at that
You
point.
have back-to-back Best Picture winner doing in a full CG movie.
And people are looking at that going like, what the hell is this? I want to see that. It looks awesome. Like, it was really well marketed at that point.
I
And just that idea
it's a
like
star power.
sunk into kids.
There's a
So-
lot of big name talent in that first Toy Story movie, or in all the Toy Stories. But yeah, when you got the
Did
guy,
you see it because of Tom Hanks?
no,
because
because I was
know
too
who the fuck Tom Hanks
fucking
was.
young, man. But
Yeah,
just,
like that idea fed into kids, and they wanted to see that.
I think I'm gonna say that one was a big hit for a lot of reasons, though. And I think part of that is Tom Hanks. Like, just
Sure.
parents probably wanted to see it with their kids. Maybe not just because of him, but yeah, I think that went a long way. Again, off topic now. It's basically the end of the show. These last two items are kind of stupid, but hey, whatever. Lionsgate, as we all know, is in the process of buying Stars. And before they can do that, probably for like regulatory reasons, they're going to unload their 30% stake in Epix, and they're looking to gift that to MGM so they can have a majority share over Paramount. Not Paramount, I mean Viacom. Paramount. So yeah, that's just a thing. The real thing, though, and this is the final item of the show, which I'm kind of excited about. Pioneer is going to start selling their first ultra high def Blu-ray drives at the end of February. They're not going to support writings to the new 4K format, but it's still a nice reminder that physical media hasn't completely died yet. You need a seriously beefy PC to handle the content, but that's to be expected at the forefront of high resolution. So it's like Windows 10, it has to have the latest generation i5 or i7 processor, yada yada yada, like HDMI 3.0, like HDCP 2.2, like it the top of the line. But yeah, like I said, what the fuck do you expect? Like you need something really impressive. Not to mention at least a 4K monitor. Among other things, probably Dolby Atmos to really take advantage of everything here. But excited. You know, this isn't going to be in a laptop. I have to imagine just that Blu-ray drive alone would kill a battery in like less than 3 hours. So good luck finishing the movie. But yeah, like if you still have a home media PC type thing, like or a PC is at the heart of your home theater, you might want to get one of these. It's not going to be probably that much more expensive than buying yourself an Xbox One Slim or S, if you will. Because well, maybe I don't know. Actually, I am curious about the price point now because you can get one of those.
Pioneer's pretty expensive, so
You can get one of those for like the 300 range. I mean, you get a lot more than just the Blu-ray drive. But the thing is that you're limited in a lot of different ways, but still Windows 10. So yeah, I would maybe this drive, like I said, because it doesn't write, like it's probably in the $300, $400 range. I don't know, but yeah, Pioneer's also going to be joined. I think Hitachi is putting one out too. So there's going to be another one out there, or maybe it's Pioneer, or is this one Pioneer? Yeah, this one's Pioneer. So yeah, I think maybe it's. I can't remember. I don't think it's Panasonic. I think it's Pioneer and Hitachi. But yeah, there's going to be another one soon. But like I said, it's going to be late February. So if you are crazy and you do have a home media setup and you've been listening to this long to the show and you really are that interested, go for it. Let us know. Send us an email. But yeah, thanks for listening. We're all over the internet. Facebook, Twitter, WordPress, Tumblr. Dollar Reviews. We're also on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podcat. And if you think of it, we're probably there also. We got some cool things coming up in the near future. Hopefully, Jet to Cinema will tide you over. That's the best way to find us on the internet if you're too lazy to search dollarreviews.net. Just Google Jet to Cinema. Hope it's been a good one.
Okay, if you wait a few seconds longer, a real yawn's gonna come up. I swear.
Okay, I'll just pretend to yawn for you.
Oh. Okay, yeah, good night. There it is.